There are times when a person does not realize that he is changing, not because he wants to, but because the world around him is slowly pushing him into something else. Not all at once, not in a way that is easy to notice, but step by step, decision after decision, until one day he looks back and does not recognize the path he took. And before we go deeper, if you are someone who enjoys stories that do not just tell a journey, but explain how power, ambition, and fear can transform a human being from within, then stay subscribed, because this story is not just about a king, it is about what happens when desire overrides conscience. This is the world of Macbeth by William Shakespeare, and at the center of this world, there is a man, Macbeth, a warrior, loyal, respected, honored, a man who has already proven his value on the battlefield. He is not a failure, he is not powerless, he is a man who has everything he needs to live with honor. And that is what makes his story more dangerous, because his fall does not come from lack, it comes from desire. The story begins not with action, but with a prophecy. 3 witches, mysterious, unpredictable, existing between reality and symbolism. They do not force him, they do not command him, they only speak, they plant an idea that he will become king. And this is the first key moment, not because of what they said, but because of how he receives it. At first, it feels impossible, strange, but also tempting, because the idea does not come from nothing. It connects to something already inside him, ambition, a quiet desire. That was never fully expressed until now. And this is one of the most important ideas in the story. Evil does not always enter from the outside. Sometimes it awakens what was already within. Macbeth does not act immediately. He thinks, he questions, he imagines. And in those thoughts, the line between possibility and action begins to blur. He returns to his castle and tells his wife, Lady Macbeth. And this is where the story shifts, because Lady Macbeth does not hesitate. She sees the prophecy, not as a possibility, but as an opportunity. And she understands something crucial, that the only obstacle is not the world, it is Macbeth himself, his doubt, his morality, his conscience. So she pushes him, not with force, but with words, with manipulation, with questions that challenge his identity. Are you a man or not? Are you strong or weak? And this is another key idea, how external influence can amplify internal conflict. Macbeth is not forced into action. He is convinced, he is pulled, he is guided into making a decision he was already capable of making. The plan is simple. King Duncan, their guest, trusting, honorable, will be killed, not in war, not in justice, but in sleep. And this is the turning point, the moment where thought becomes action, where possibility becomes reality. When Macbeth commits the act, everything changes, not just in the world, but in him. He does not become king immediately. He becomes something else first, a man divided, because the crown does not remove the consequence, it amplifies it. He hears voices, feels fear, sees things that are not there. And this is important. The punishment does not come from the law, it comes from the mind, from guilt, from the collision between what he did and who he was. But instead of stopping, he continues, because another key idea emerges. Once you cross a line, it becomes easier to cross the next one, to keep power. He must protect it, to protect it. He must remove threats, Banquo, his friend, loyal, trustworthy, but also part of a prophecy that his descendants will be king. And this is enough for Macbeth to see him, not as a friend, but as a risk. And so he acts again, not out of need, but out of fear. And this is another transformation. He is no longer just ambitious, he is paranoid. He does not trust, he does not rest, he does not stop. And as he falls deeper, Lady Macbeth, who once led him, begins to break, because guilt does not affect everyone the same way. She tried to control it, ignore it, but it returns in her mind, in her sleep, in her actions, until she can no longer escape it. And this is another key point, that power does not destroy only the one who takes it, but also those who help create it. As the story moves forward, the world around Macbeth changes, not because he is stronger, but because he is more isolated. People begin to see, to question, to turn against him. Macduff, a man of honor, becomes the opposition, not just to Macbeth, but to what he has become. And the final conflict is not just a battle, it is a confrontation between two paths, one built on ambition without limit, and one built on justice. And in the end, Macbeth falls, not because he was weak, but because he chose a path that could not sustain itself. And now this is where the story stops being about Macbeth and starts becoming about you. Because the real question is not whether he was evil, but how far ambition can go when it is not controlled. What desires are you holding that could change you if you follow them without question? What lines do people cross, not in one moment, but step by step? And how many decisions does it take to become someone you never intended to be? If this story made you think, do not ignore it. Subscribe, stay, because the next story will not just show you another fall. It may show you how easily anyone can begin one.